the H to the NI to the, you already see what time it is. It's the H to the NI to the, see my niggas dying to. Greetings all Massive and crew, uptown, downtown, everywhere. My name is Rashid K, the HNIC head nigga in charge. You already know, the Beast Ran God. Today it's a very special episode. I have #1 Knoxman, also from the Beast Rand. You know, I can write a book about this man. You know, before I say what I want to say about him, I'd like to welcome him to the show. Welcome to the HNIC Castle.
Rashid, ngiyabonga mfethu. Ekhale ka ugcina uthiyaka.
Yo.
Thank you.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Shout outs to the audience, and it's good that we're breaking bread again. Ekhale ka ugcina ngikukhumbulile, at least share the knowledge with the young generation.
You know what I mean? That this is what we're here for. But before I always say this, but I haven't said this to you. You know, what you did for me, I don't know you aware how big it was or how big it is. I remember in 2012 when we were starting the South African Hip Hop Awards, I came to you like, yo, can we come to Friends Like This? We're trying to promote these awards. They knew, and you allowed us to come. So after doing that show, I came to you. I was like, yo, Sbuda, I know some cool people in the industry because I was working for a hip hop magazine.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Hype, ne?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I can bring you hip hop people, like dance crews. And then you're like, okay, cool. Come see me on Monday at Urban Brew. I came. It took me to the office, and then I got the job. I was bringing the contestants.
Yeah.
You know, I remember bringing boys and bags. I used to bring like the radio presenters, the dance crews. From then on, they moved me to Yo TV. I ended up producing battle stations.
I remember battle stations.
Yes. From the opportunity that you gave me, you know. And rewind back before that, you were the first guy to play my song on radio on YFM. So I'll forever be grateful.
Yo, bro.
I'll forever be grateful.
Yo.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you.
Joe.
And that opened a lot of doors for me because after battle stations, I went to Red Pepper. I was producing Shizniz. After Shizniz,
Yeah, I remember Shizniz
yes,
as well. You
I
producing
produced that for like a couple of years. And then after that, I produced a house show, Ones and Twos.
Ones and Twos,
Where
I remember that.
Prince KB was born from there. DJ Mshega was born.
I remember that.
I was producing that show on SABC 1. And then from there, I moved to One Mic on SABC 1. I did all 3 seasons. I was working with Bo Big Zulu, Bo Prokid. I was producing that show.
Yeah.
From the opportunity that you handed me. You know,
bro.
you didn't judge me. You didn't ask for qualification or experience. You just gave me that opportunity.
Oh, Joe. Hey, memories, eh?
Yeah. They go a long way. They go a long way.
When you passed it on, bro, like you've been putting people on.
I've been like
my first experience of meeting with Big Zulu,
Yeah.
of speaking to Big Zulu, of even having him on my radio show. This was even before 100 Bars, before Imaleningi, before the blowing up.
yes.
Before he went on to work with other people.
Yeah.
It's you who
Yeah,
was managing him, and he introduced me to him.
Yeah, I was working with Big Zulu all the way. I'm a million, I was there. Aglalegi, I was there. Vumadlozi, until even when Imaleningi was done, I was there, you know, because that was done in 2020 during COVID, you know, and then Leroy came when the song was already done, and then he took over from there. But I've been working with Big Zulu from 2013 to 2020. That's 7 years of like artist development and brand development.
Proud of you, bro. Congratulations for passing on the baton and unselfishly doing it for others. There's people like us who even though the audience might not know, there's people like us who do it. We don't do it for the money.
Yes.
Yeah. So not every plug you deserve to benefit off of that artist that you plug, right? So it's
True.
your energy, it's your relationships, it's your network. Sometimes it's even your money. Sometimes it might not come back.
Yeah, sometimes it might not. But
uNkulunkulu uzokubusisa ngezinye indlela.
But what I learned is what you did for me, I might not do it back, but I'll do for others.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know. So let's get this thing started. Sbuda, background, where you from? How did you get into the industry? Which one came first? Sbuda the DJ, Sbuda the musician, Sbuda the TV presenter, Sbuda the radio presenter, Sbuda the podcaster. Give it to me step by step.
No, ngiyabonga mfethu, and congrats for the growth. Congrats for your 2 podcasts. I see now you started another movement.
Yes.
Which is always nice. You're like me. I don't stop. I don't stop. Mina ngiphume eThembisa, you know.
Yeah.
Ekuruleni, at the time it was called the East Rand. Nasakhula bekungana skontire kasi, bekungana malight, bekungana ma-Apollo, bekungana gesi. You know, bebathi kini na bazofaka ugesi besithi khabo bani sebachupile. You know, abanye thola ukuthi bana ama-generator lapha khala ngaphandle like the TV. Bese ubukela ama-TV ama next door. Dibalang le ka ne re tlo koposha ba TV, you know. Okay. TV. Yo, ngiyaxolisa mfethu. I don't mind answering it on the,
no problem.
Ma oledi nakafona.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure ukuthi ugrand yabo.
Yeah.
Ukuthi akusi emergency uyazi umuntu omdala uzaqala, so noma ngisema meeting noma gogo wami nakafona. I have to attend to it immediately qala before ngiqhubeka ngento engiyenza, but I don't mind answering it on the pod because I know we also have got a younger generation that's watching, so it's also important, guys, to prioritize your folks. Family comes first, so even if no more busy kanjani, you don't want to kunjani mama nami ngiyaphila mama ngiyaphuthuka mama. Okay. Yeah, but oh, okay. Okay, ngicela nje 1 hour ke ngizokufonela back ne. Okay, ngizokufonela in an hour ne. Yebo, ngisabambekile, ngicela ukukufonela nangiqeda. Yebo ma. Okay, ngiyabonga. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. So family comes first.
Shout out to Oledi.
Yeah, sure.
Shout out to Oledi. It's funny how universe works. While you're busy talking about where you're from, home, and then Oledi calls.
Right, yeah, divine intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah, so ngikhulisa Oledi wami, time lami. Ubablope kaSpiri uyirapilele namane. You know, wangikhulisa ngikhulele kwelinye ikasi abathi kusewela mlambo. And then
I know it very well. My grandparents, I have like my roots in Tembisa. My grandparents are from Emoyen.
Yeah, Emoyen.
Yeah, main route. Yeah, my main line.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But ngasemangweni futhi.
Yes. So me, I'm from Thokoza, East Rand, but grandparents from Tembisa.
You know, when you talk about the Thokoza, when you talk about the East Rand, a lot of us are here because of a blessing. I always say a black child is, when he leaves the house or when she leaves the house, it's an adventure on its own. You know, other people, they'll be tetising you, wow, feel late. Sometimes it's not as easy as we are for a black child to just get to work is an adventure. Kibela matexa to umestiwa amahuzo lapha eHillbrow ngaseNorth umesiwa eKara mpore mchayi, you know, like imagine how many times you could have lost your life but you're here. So everything is for a reason. So nangikhulele wela mlambo samuvela hospital view geleze usinye isigela eKaslamba tikusewela mlambo primary school ngageleze Siphiwe lapha ngasesangweni, ngiqeda ngageleze Thembisa High lapha ngasendulwini opposite eRabasuthu, ngawugeleza usinye isigela ngase hospital view khona ngaseThembisa ngase Clayville bathi kuse Madibatlo, ngiqeda lapho bangibhosa edladleni. Nabangibhosa basically, I mean, they wanted me to attend a school that is outside of Ejozi. because at the time, you know, begonzakalane East.
Yeah.
The political wars, Nkatha versus ANC, Amazulu namaXhosa.
I'm from the heart of it, Thokoza.
Thokoza, lesikhali sibhame kasi lakho.
Yeah.
Hey, belkhale kharavu over.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, like in our childhood, I mean, no normal child is meant to grow up like that.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I can imagine how many dead people you've seen in your life. And it became as if it was a norm, nasakula. Igani khala ngaphandle, ama-gunshots. At some point, it was normal. You know?
At Thokoza, we even have a monument with more than 1,000 names of people who died during that period. I have 2 friends who lost their fathers. Kruna, you know, Kruna is a singer.
Yeah.
His father was shot. I have another friend, Robert. His father was shot during that time, and their names are on that wall.
For you to get to understand what we're talking about, it might not click to you because even at the time, you know, social media was not around. There's a viral video where current Honorable President Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa is being bamthathisa amakhava khaligani kagijimiwa. That happened at Kaslake.
Yeah.
And that was a norm at the time when we were growing up.
It was normal. It was normal. We used to sleep on the floor. Yeah, to avoid at night you sleep on the floor in the house to avoid stray bullets from the windows.
Yeah. Now abantu abadala bebahlala basho no hey uZulu hey khothama guqa bahlale sekunormal, you know, sikhule kanjalo. And now that you think about it and you look back, you know that that's actually not normal. That's not how a child is supposed to grow up, but that's how we grew up.
That's how we grew up.
You know,
you used to know, oh, that's a 9, that's an AK.
Exactly.
That's we knew sound, we knew guns from the sound. Hey,
that's what 303.
Yeah.
You know?
303.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It was crazy.
R1, R5, R5, 9,
yeah.
You know?
Quash,
you know, the self-made guns.
Yeah.
You know? Across the world, khona elinye ikazi khona manje bathi Vusumuzi eThembisa. Vusumuzi used to be a hostel as well. So yeah, bekunokhaligana amachitapai ngakhuna nabo happy abomabhavane babhoda amachitapai. You know, a lot of people died, like as you say, in Nasekaslako. So for a lot of townships around, it was a norm. And I can imagine how many people who come from KZN who experienced that political violence at the time. How many other people they grew up with as well. Sadly, we're no longer here. So, you know, that's the type of upbringing. So mina, the reason I'm ngikhuluma ngadi things is because that's the very same reason edlaleni bagcina bangiqosa. Ukuthi yazini, it's either uzogcina ganga, or it's either uyogcina phathigani, or it's either bagcina bamshaya ngegani, or it's either uyogcina asejele.
Yeah.
Because I'm out hambing waskima abantu okhule nabo, you know, abanye bayaganga, abanye bayaspina amaginsa, abanye, you know what I mean, like people are different. So now umzali, you don't know ukuthi your child might end up taking the wrong route.
Yeah.
You know? So nabangposa bangposela esocial nguve.
Yeah.
Go kasengo barki kuhlona bana ngenalo trend barki jugulane.
Yeah, jugulane. Yeah.
Ngitsana go di ele go social se. Oh no nna go di ele at some point mar ne ketsana go di age. Go di age there was a boarding school they called Central West Blomara Iskela. So then that's when I sort of started understanding uba independent, to go away from eJozi, meet abanye abantu abaphuma kwamanye amakasi, meeting people from Zim, meeting people from Botswana, from KZN, starting to see a different lifestyle from what I was used to growing up in eJozi. Started liking impahla, started liking clothes, became a fashionista then, started becoming independent, got introduced to tennis, started getting introduced to girls, you know, Aluya Choda, Usepodi, you know, And nangiqedara Central ngakelezo sinskele about TNT, which is now TUT. TNT changed from being Technical Northern Transvaal to Technical Northern Gauteng, TNG.
Okay.
From TNG, then that's when it evolved into TUT. Nane ke tsena ko main campus ya go di ele ko social nguve ne ke nna go ka siengwa na da go di ele go le social ba re ke via VV. Gaufi le via Philippe ba nnang ko le social ba itse abahlale social nguve ba yazi into engikhuluma ngayo. Yeah, njoba ngisho uyaqala uba slim, uyaqala uyajola, ujwayela indwangu, and then ke nangiqeda ngiyabuya ngizogeleza Vetstech. Vetstech is what you would call University of Johannesburg today, UJ.
Okay, yeah.
Geleza UJ so seJozi uphila kubo Carlton, uqala uzijwayeleza bo window shopping, ubhaya bo GQ magazine abo Esquire, ukuz familiarize yourself nesidwedwe, you know. And then at that time, you know,
Uyishaya vele the mpahlas. Yeah.
Yeah, and with that being said, shout outs to these guys. These guys are from Durban. These guys are. Can you please come read the brand here? Give them the plug, bro, because they do beautiful clothing, man. Flamboyant Kid, yeah. These guys are from KZN. They do beautiful clothes, so I love wearing local brands. But anyway, those days were Kalitarian.
Yeah.
18 Egg,
Yeah. I'm also rocking a local brand from Soweto.
Ababan?
Cash Clothing.
Oh, Cash Clothing, nice.
Cash Clothing from Soweto.
I mean, that's the culture every day. Jeans, ngishaya vapes, yasempumalanga with banky. I rock local every day. But anyway, that time was so into Italian clothing.
Yeah.
Right? You remember those mesmerized cotton shirts? About DMT.
Yes.
About Linea Italia. Snokubloma lapana boma Carlton Center, Small Street. When Small Street was Small Street.
Yeah.
Carlton Center was Carlton Center. We used to hang around there. There used to be a hip hop clothing store there called Nuff Nuff.
It's still there.
Is this called Nuff Nuff?
I saw it the other day. I'm like, damn.
It's the problem Nuff Nuff. And cinema, I lean towards Les Amapansuna and Les Amatarian. You know? So there used to be different cliques. And then you've got album rapper cliques here. On Saturdays, besides with Talent on album rappers, Pile Le Club.
Le Club, yeah.
Remember Le Club, right?
Yes.
Yes, as good Nogera, Noguzintsarili Poti. Couldn't you out be telling Plome Carlton be about to Sylvester? Being at Stephen so shine pa mamanj, you know? I'm saying those memories because I know there's some older people that might be watching, so I'm just giving you guys some sort of a timeline as to when this was. I remember about Meridian College. I remember moving to Jozi. I want to move to Berea. Not the hotel, I fled. The Sands. Hlale Bostonian. Hlale Ponte City. Lapane Berea.
Yeah.
Moved to Yeovil. Ngase Harrow Road, which is now called Joslovo. Hlale ulinyi flat about Malibu Heights. Hlala kuboma Cavendish bezero no Teyoville Rocky Street besihlala siyogroovera kuboma Thando sinokuskima bomjamani.
Thando, yeah. Rasta House.
Bokushikata strong. That time mina bengishange Chisco bengilezi zamapantsula zama mesmerized t-shirt. So lezi zabomjamani zama dreads abe sizibona kuwabomjamani. Wabomjamani ba peaceful. Abahluphi imbundu bayazinkawuzela abazithandela dance hall.
Bake bangithathele leather jacket to Yeoville. So we attended a show. We thought it was 6 to 6. By 12 it's done. And just not transport you lekas. So we're blooming outside waiting for the morning. Machita. They come with the cats. Like, okay. The following week, Nhlangana with the same guy wearing the same and he's laughing at me.
I can relate. Mina bangiphathula ipointer yami leather black. Mina grandren oli lam lingikhulise. Oli lam beline salon, she was a businesswoman. Oli lam was a hustler. You know, she's not running a cleaning company in a salon. Ngana salon uthengisa ama self-made what. You know, my mother, I grew up around a hustling parent, so I pretty much took from that hustling spirit from her.
Yeah.
So bengithanda impahla. Vele ngoba since angigqokisa ngisaseyintwana. So now uthi bakuphathula leather jacket, mina bangiphathula leather jacket yami emnyama bokuyipointer. It was a fresh jacket, bro. Mina bangishayile, bro. Yabona iyacava high point.
Yeah.
Remember the old Look and Listen?
Yeah.
Just behind the high point. Bukhona esinye ispa lapha babapayisa amanye amaphaya amnandi ngasemuva. There used to be a record store there, guys. They used to sell vinyls and CDs. I bought my first CD in there at Look and Listen, Kumbul. There used to be a store called Look and Listen.
I once got arrested there for stealing a cassette. I was still in primary.
I'm telling these stories, Ngamabu. I'm taking people on that mental journey.
Yeah,
you know, people who grew up in Joburg, they know these things that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful upbringing, man. Those are the days when one starts DJing. I'm meeting Khanso. Khanso is the guy that taught me to DJ. Beslala Sonke Ponte. Khanso Mabuse. And then I team up with another guy called Uneo. Never meet Uneo Le Jombok. But I get as a vet university. Me and Oneo no Khanso, we started deep house movement.
Yeah.
We call ourselves Deep Nation. Deep Nation, we used to strictly play deep house. But those days, so we used to carry crates. And then we used to, like, not one-on-one, But sometimes we play one-on-one. Sometimes, you know, we switch amongst ourselves. And we used to rock parties. Around those days, I meet Abu Fisters, I meet Abu Iggy Smalls, Sonke Seyintwana. Fisters is a part of Channel T, which is now called UJFM.
Okay.
At the time, it was called Channel T. It was part of Channel T, DJ Fisters. We meet Abu Iggy Smalls, who sadly passed on. Some of you guys remember him from YFM. He was a music compiler, he was a DJ, music producer. An incredible guy. He used to be a part of a musical group called Twist Style. Him and his brother.
Yeah, I remember Twist Style.
Double HP used to be a part of that group. No, actually not a Twist Style. Twist Style was the brothers. Iggy passed on, the one brother remained.
Yeah.
But before Twist Style, I forgot what the name of the band was that they were all a part of, and Double HP was a part of it. Their hit song was
not Verbal Assassin.
Verbal Assassin. Remember Verbal
man.
Assassin? Yeah.
Come on.
Verbal Assassin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that hit song of theirs, man. Everybody on the west side. Remember?
What's the words?
Yeah.
Do you feel okay?
Remember that song?
Yeah, I remember that song. Yeah,
that was their hit song. And then Iggy and his brother move on to start Twist Style. And then they came up with that hit song featuring TK, who passed on.
Yeah.
It's our music, losing control.
Yeah.
Na 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 na.
Yeah.
Na 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 na. Yeah, come on.
I remember that. I
Touching your
remember
soul, just letting go. And then Double HP breaks off to start his own solo career at the time. Double HP's career gets, and I don't want to tell his story. My brother, may so rest in peace. I miss you. Thank you for all the great moments. Thank you for plugging me on a lot of your hit songs. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the collabo. We did one collabo. Binating nere. Beitin ngonje lengoma ngashano Double HP because I'm a voice with bangata yafana.
Yeah.
Beitin. Iyo warisbura orejela bana.
Harisbura orejela.
Orejela bana.
Harisbura. Yeah, I remember that.
Banana buff. Hey, Joe. Memories, man.
Yeah.
Double HP memories. I get emotional because I really, really love that brother. Anyway. Around that time, Double HP breaks off to start a solo career. Around that time, I'm hustling with my demo tapes to try and get to be on radio. I'm not on radio at the time. I've not blown up. I'm not famous at the time. So Double HP, this is a little bit before I met Double HP.
Yeah.
I have not blown up. But in Tandindwangu, in Koga Grand, I mean, I wouldn't call myself an underground DJ. With Deep Nation, we wanted to break through. You know, but I'm starting to meet the important people because Yamakikini and this girl at Vets Tech. Vets Tech is what you would call UJ right now because Vet Vatersrand Technicon, which is Vets Tech, merged with an Afrikaans university in Auckland Park called Irau,
yeah.
Randse Afrikaanse University to become UJ.
Yes.
So at the time it was Vets Tech. I used to go to the Doornfontein campus. So I become a part of the rec team. I become a part of the, not necessarily SRC in politics, but the entertainment side of it, where I'm starting to scheme the guys. I'm being a part of Channel T, the radio station as a campus in Nhlala cafeterias, Tanduk Dlalama table, Soka Lapaga Frank. People who went to Vetstech would remember that there used to be a resident, there was Sister Chinis. There used to be a Robin Crest. And then Auckland Park, Bekoni Machuba, and a Panorama, you know.
Hey, the notorious Machuba.
You remember the notorious Machuba? I was just there at that time, you know. I'm telling these stories so that to give people who can relate the timeline. And some of you guys might be watching this with your brothers or your parents or your uncles, they can relate. And then I'm coming up in the game, you know, I'm putting myself, I'm playing in these gigs. I remember we used to charge 3 clip. You know, and guys, back in those days, you're not booked to play for an hour or 2 hours. No, you're booked to play the whole night. So if they've given you guys 3 clips, ni 3, nyokala hip hop R&B, nize kanje nikuphe nithi kwaito or nithi boma mid tempo. Nankata zithi all the way house. And then on the early hours of the morning, mushroom jazz, hip hop and R&B, hip hop and R&B. So you'd hold it down the whole night and you play all the genres. And Kwaito was big at the time. That's how my DJing career started. That's how I started introducing myself in the industry. That's how I started networking, meeting other guys because I'm part of a radio station on campus. I'm playing. I charge at the time being charged at 3 clip and one.
Yeah.
And nang nama agency C3 is not charge about 3 or 6 clip or 9 clip. Sometimes, you know, abantu abananyuko bakale or 250 or bankale or 2 clip. Sometimes abananyuko bazon khafanga exposure.
Yeah.
You know, no, you guys come. We'll give you an exposure. There's got to be 5,000 people there.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you're excited. Good abo Sliko back feature at Panakma 60s. You know, Sliko, guys, I'm just going to pay you transport, accommodation, but we don't have money to pay you guys. But now we're excited. We're being booked for the 60s. So we'll dlala farm or so we'll dlala lapana go Sliko kuma 60s. Shaikari, give up on my Northwest, Mafikeng. You know, those days where you're in the come up. I'm saying these things because when you're building your career, those things are important. It's not always about the bag. I do hear Machita, no, the bag's got to be right. No, secure the bag. There's nothing wrong. But if you're still building, the bag might not necessarily be a money exchange, but I might benefit by playing at that gig at no cost, but I'm exposing myself to thousands of people and somebody sees me there and they want to give me 5 gigs.
Yeah.
That are going to pay me 5 clips per gig, right?
Yeah.
That's how you grow in the industry. That's how I used to look at it. Staying in Ponta City, staying in Yeovil, frequenting Rocky Street, Abo Bapita, Abo Tando. So I'm exposing myself to all the different cultures. In touch with the hip-hop guys, in touch with the raga guys, Abo Mjamani Basayovili. I remember even my first car was a green VW Beetle Yakdala. It was owned by a Rastafarian guy called Philip. His car was written Rasfil. I remember me and Khanzo Sakipa my 4 clipper sapa alia Beetle 8 clipper. And then from then on, I went on to buy a VW Golf 2020 Guma Paputse. Sold it to me for 15,000 rands. This is before he blew up. This is before I blew up also.
Yeah.
This is me now starting to frequent this radio station that is coming up called UIFM. I keep on going there all the time. This radio station is buzzing. It's got no DJs. They're just only playing a number. They hit the number, boy. There are no commercials. There are no DJs. They are just hitting the number. And it was a big thing at the time. Remember, Kwaito was not embraced on mainstream at the time.
It wasn't.
YFM was the only station that was hitting it quite was strong and hitting that underground sound. People don't know that EP02 number even as a scoop. Neritsbita snar ka nako eo nona le nako barking lonja ne tse ding tako ko le sosha barke ga pet bano ka tiku happy tamzala pitamzala ka tiku kusema age be khona ne nyitla bathi kuse cherries be khona ne I'm trying to remember a pet 4 be khona out about uskoko Pedro ustaya se kastlami ngathi like albino. Yeah. Albinism. My brother was like light in complexion, full of freckles, so star. Bekahlala ePitori njalo ngama Friday. Ayo record number. Hlala za nginamba ezintsha ngama cassette. Mina bengithola inumber from kuye so ngidlala ngevinyl sometimes ngidlala ngecassette.
Yeah.
So as I'm coming up in Joburg, as I'm hearing this new radio station that's buzzing, I'm frequenting ngase Kensington, ngase Bellevue, Lenzansi lapha eBedrams.
I remember I was there. Funny enough, like a lot of us on the come up, we used to go to YFM. As rappers, we used to go there for Rap Activity Jam to rap. So there's Boss Lika, there's Squatter Camp, there's Bo Snezdi. We outside Cypher. If you're not inside the studio, you're outside ciphering. And in that mist, there's DJs, there's Boss Boo, Bo Cleo, Bo C Live. They there for their own hustle. So it was crazy. And a lot of people don't know that YFM gave SA hip hop, especially Joburg hip hop, a platform and exposure. The first time YFM had 1 million listeners, it was on a Wednesday during Rap Activity Jam.
YFM was the pulse of youth culture.
Yeah.
We all wanted ourselves there, especially when they started introducing the DJs.
Yes.
Abo Fetcho, Abo Semiti, Abo Rude Boy Paul, Abo Oskido,
Abo Fresh,
Abo DJ Fresh, Abo Fetcho, Abo Pindigul, Abo AK Mkaka Shabalala. I think he's on Power FM now on weekends. Shout out to my brother, I miss him. Abo Carlito, Abo Greg Malok, Abo Leo Mane, Abo Kabzela.
Yeah.
Unga drive church.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I remember it. Fana Cup. So speaking of that lineup, I think that was the golden era of DJs. Like when it comes to radio, I don't think there will ever be a radio lineup like that, where you have your DJ Smooth, your Fat Joe, your DJ Fresh, or Skido, Root Boy Paul, Bad Boy T, Kabzela. Like
Bad Boy T, by the way, guys, is Thomas Msenga. Remember, the guys have changed names.
Oh yes. And Root Boy is
Paul Mniz.
Yeah.
He's now in 2000. He does our afternoon drive. Yeah.
So I don't see that happening again. Like that was the golden era of radio. I don't see a radio station where you can get glued from breakfast until night.
I remember that. Yeah.
Back to back. Everyone was on point. You know, and when I compared that to now, especially on YFM, they don't create superstars anymore when it comes to DJs and presenters. Why am I saying that? You can meet any DJ from YFM at the mall. You won't recognize them. But you wouldn't meet Fresh or Sboo or Root Boy Poil and not recognize them back then. So they I don't know what happened to lose that. Do you perhaps know what the problem is?
I beg to differ. When we came up, older musicians at the time, they used to say, "Lentona zekwaita ziyazi into yenza. Lentona zekwaita shama one-liners na content. Lento ekwaita kusumculo, kusumusic, rubbish lento lentona eziyenza." You know, I kind of feel, even namanje, you find Grootmans, you know, guys my age or a little bit older, who might be ticked off.
Yes.
Or be irritated by the piano sound, you know. I embrace kids. I embrace the youth. I embrace culture.
Same here.
I'm part of the culture. And I feel every generation writes their own story. Every generation creates their own history.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel the audience that listens to Y now, they know those jocks when they bump into them at gigs, at Groove, at parties, at malls. It might not be at the level of that time and that era. You need to remember that era also, there was just 3 or 4 channels that we all watch the whole country on TV.
Yeah.
There was no internet, there was no nothing. Like we're all watching SABC 1 or 2 or 3. And it's more yengamla.
Yeah.
The 2 in Singamla too much. Yes, Santine. E1, most of us were watching SABC 1. Right? So a lot of these guys blew up on radio, and the type of radio they were doing was not on the internet, there was no social media, and it was only in Gauteng. And people outside of Gauteng are always hearing about this YFM, and 2 or 3 or 4 of the YFM DJs that are on TV are always talking about this YFM. And everybody who comes from out of town can't wait to get to Joburg to experience this Y, or whenever they get to visit town, right? So I feel at the time there wasn't too much competition. There was a lot of barrier to entry. You are very lucky to get into the industry.
And once you're in, you have like a lot of opportunities. I remember TV used to go for radio DJs or radio presenters.
Yeah.
That's why you had Rude Boy Paul and Bad Boy T at some point presenting Gem Ailey from YFM. You had Bonang from YFM presenting Top Billing and other shows.
And even much earlier, you've got Fresh doing Studio Mix. With Melanie.
Yes.
So that's what I mean, where you've had like a few YFM DJs who are on screen, and the rest of the country used to see these cool guys.
Yeah.
And everybody used to say, these guys are from this station called YFM, it's banging.
Yeah.
And people in Gauteng, they're always conversing and telling their relatives, their cousins, Abahlala, KZN, Limpopo, Northwest, the Free State, and this station called Y. And every time when schools are closed and they'd visit Gauteng, they used to experience the magic of YFM. So I kind of feel we were the pulse of the culture. The YFM had an open door policy. YFM gave us all a canvas and a painting brush.
Yeah.
And then they said, these are the rules, don't break these rules, but go crazy. So I kind of feel the era has evolved, and the type of YFM that are current jocks that work at YFM have got they're restricted from doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's different management. It's a different era. It's a cancel culture era. You can easily get cancelled. There's a lot of things that you can't say that we used to say then.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember Abo Fresh used to have like strippers in the studio.
Yeah,
You
I
remember Fat Joe and Fresh hosting a ladies only gig. I'm actually going on 12 midnight. But from I think 8 or 9, I was just just women only.
Yeah.
Guys used to, the things that were done then, and some of the things that were done on air, and some of the things that we used to say on air are not allowed now anymore. So as much as the internet,
your mama jokes, your fat jokes from Fat Joe, you can't say that now.
you trend, you get dragged, you get called to the BCCSA, you get fired, you get cancelled, and all these things.
Yeah.
Right, so I kind of feel the culture today and the jokes that are out there, not only at Y, at other platforms as well.
Yes.
We are all influenced by this thing, right? We're all influenced by this thing. And sometimes, to crack the whip at them a little bit, is you guys sometimes, yes, you've got the red tape. They can't allow you to say this, to do that. They are very strict, as opposed to back then. They weren't as strict as the stations or the platforms that you guys work for now. But you guys also need to be creative outside of just taking what everybody's talking about on trending topics or the internet.
Yeah.
Just come up with your own creativity, man. At the time, as you're saying, Bekonabo Dara Man, Bekonabo David Gabo Little Brown Cow.
Yeah.
Bekonabo Fat Joe, he was so creative. His shows were amazing. Fat Joe, you saved my life.
Yeah.
Fat Joe Live and Dangerous. Remember his morning shows?
Yeah.
Remember DJ Fresh with the mixing competitions that he used to do on air? Remember the prank calls on air?
Yeah.
Remember Boom Zega Zega? Remember, so the creativity was not inspired by this one platform that we're all consuming, which is the internet. So we were forced to become creative. So you find that the guys now, apart from the restrictions that are out there, they're sort of comfortable. I don't think they're that creative. That's why when you find the creative ones on TikTok, they blow up. They're not even on radio. They're not even employed by any of these stations. But you just find guys who are creative in their own way or their own right. They blow up on TikTok.
Do you know that a lot of people don't know that YFM was a game changer? Before YFM, it was one presenter per show. Glenn Lewis would do his show alone. Bob Mabena would do. This thing of co-presenting came with YFM, and everybody started adopting it.
Yeah. And also, you are forced to do everything. Sometimes you're the news reader or the sports broadcaster. You produce your own show. You do your own technical product. So you're basically 5 things in one.
Yeah.
Right? So you're forced to know how to produce a show, how to get your own guests, how to prepare for your own show, how to call those guests of yours, how to do the sound of your show, how to select your music. And remember, we also had the freedom of playing what we like. They don't. Once they play a song outside of the music compiler's schedule, they get a suspension, they get called to DC, or they get fired.
It's too strict now. I remember it was on Metro FM, I was once suspended for a tweet. I was suspended for the whole month, and it had nothing to do with the station or the broadcaster, the SABC. Like,
you get suspended for promoting your gig.
Yeah.
I got fired for promoting MoFaya.
I remember that.
At YFM, we used to go crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Abo Fejo, I remember Rock the Girls, McG. People know McG now, the podcaster. I'm telling you guys about McG on radio. He used to break songs. Remember Mo Flavor and McG, they had a partnership. They used to have their own condoms. Remember?
Yeah.
Their own brand of condoms.
Yes.
They used to talk about their condoms every other link, promoting their products. Nobody got fired. Nobody got suspended. DJs would talk about their gigs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. On Saturday, YFM wouldn't say, don't promote your gigs. You are raping the airtime. Hey, you are taking advantage of the airtime. They gave us a blank canvas and a painting brush, and they said, be whoever you want to be. Paul was doing his poetry thing. DJ Fresh was doing his house thing. Fat Joe was doing his Sinbad / American comedy / he was a big part of introducing that comedy culture in the country. You've got Semiti, you've got Sis Pindikulu, you've got Abo Carlito, you've got the lady that went on to start Trans Africa Radio, Sis Sintuli.
Yes.
She was at Y at the time also. So all these people are diverse in their own way, but they all belong to the station. And as you're saying, the audience would listen to the station from morning to midnight.
Yeah.
And you're consuming all these guys that are different. Omunye umrapper, ufeature bomrapper. Omunye uyipantsulu kabzelu ring itsotitali, ring singam lo lagisa abantu fonela neyibosha. Omunye udlala house.
The show I never missed was Justin and Admiral.
Oh,
Admiral and the Apple.
Oh nana, gong, gong. Remember Horror Cafe?
Hey.
Remember those sessions, bro?
Hey.
When Cool Runnings was still big, like that raga culture. Remember the Tando days in Yeovil there upstairs?
Yes.
The rooftop. But we she got that strong.
And then they moved it to Baseline, the Raga Nights. Yeah.
Yo, guys. You know, and we are consuming all these guys. It's not like, no, I'm a hip hop head, I only consume hip hop. No, I'm a house head, I only consume house. No, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no, I love quiet, I only would listen to No, you listen to everybody. So then you're exposed to all these different cultures. That's why YFM was just that melting pot of talent. And that's why I guess it produced the type of people it produced. And also remember, YFM had its own magazine, and it was pre-social media. So the internet wasn't as big as it is now. The penetration wasn't as big as it is now. So I kind of get to feel like it's unfair to compare, our
It's never
today.
fair. It's never fair. In every field, you can't say, hey, Bafana are not as good as the class of 96.
You remember that team. Yo,
Hey,
Abo Caesar, yo, 96 best boo, yeah, boy.
you know what I mean?
That's when that thing came, that TKZ hit track.
Yeah.
Benny in the 18
Area, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, speaking of that, I wanted to ask, what's your take on the cancel culture?
I interviewed a gentleman who was a very humble brother from Maftown, grew up in Soweto, came up in Joburg, ended up becoming a vice president of an internationally renowned advertising agency in New York, not here in South Africa. The main head office. He was vice president. His name is Musito Ramaile. I forgot Musito's surname is Ramaile, ne? Yeah. Musito is based in New York. He's the plug. We call him the mayor of New York. So everybody who goes to New York, Musito will plug you. Even the likes of Abum Trevisto, when they were new in New York, Musito will plug you with anyone. Ask any one of our guys who goes, when you land in New York, he'll look after you. He will network, he'll introduce you to the embassy guys, he'll introduce you to other people. Anything you need in New York is the plug. Anyway, I know Rock Nation, one of his clients, Brooklyn Nets, one of his clients. Incredible, amazing brother. Shout out to Musito. Love you, bro. Very proud of you. And you're such an inspiration. You're one of those humble brothers that not a lot of people know about, but people need to know your story. Musito said to me, there's no such a thing as cancel culture.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to cancel you, bro? Like, who's going to stop you from walking out of that door? Who's going to stop you from shooting this content and putting it up online? Who's going to stop you from getting a booking? Who's going to stop you from getting a DM from somebody in the US, in the UK, in the Free State, in Durban? Who's gonna stop you, bro? Who's gonna stop
nobody's
you?
Gonna
Who's gonna stop
you.
you from releasing a track right now? Right now, next door here, there's a studio. You go in there, you record a track. In an hour's time, you got a track. You upload it. Come on, DSP, it's up. Who's
You
gonna
go
stop
to
you?
a green screen room, you shoot a video, you shoot a visualizer.
And somebody else can say, yeah, but they're gonna speak so bad about you that you don't get bookings, you don't get endorsements. When you're hot enough, bro.
That's what Eminem did with his new album. He was poking the cancel culture. Like, yo, I'm rich, I can say whatever I can say. You know, you're not gonna cancel me. And he broke all the 2024 records. You know, he's number one on every platform. Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, his YouTube, he's number one everywhere. By saying these things other people are cancelled for.
Although mina ngimfeel Eminem mara ngiyakuvumelana nawe.
Yeah.
Uveza uphethe ingamba. Kanye did it as well last year.
Yes.
Right? Okay, Eminem is another convo. Untsumba ya rapper le yapara. Mara ngazi ngagcina nini ukulalela Eminem. Ngagcina nge okay, anyway, yeah, ngagcina kudala.
I know. I
remember the 8 Mile soundtrack.
Yes.
To bump Eminem like crazy in my car, like around that.
You used to play a lot of Jay-Z in your car.
Yeah,
Is it still your favorite?
Of course, bro. For me, I wouldn't listen to Uhov for the entertainment value. For me, it was the hustle, the moves, the lyrics. I kind of feel Uhov gave me game, man.
Yeah.
So when you listen all the way down from Reasonable Doubt to Guza Naiganje, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Blueprint, Uguza nje all the way Ganja, Black Album, he's giving you free game.
Yeah,
bro.
he was about the business.
Yeah, and mina ngiyamlalela bese ngiyambheka ukuthi umuva kanjani wenzani.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things I've done in my career were modeled around Abu Hove, were modeled around Abu Diddy and them, starting their own record labels, being independent, owning their masters, coming up with products, coming up with their own beverages, their vodkas. You know what I mean? Like I basically was modeling my own career around those guys. So even the music from Hove was more on the game, the entrepreneurial aspect of what he delivers in his songs. Although the guy is dope, right? And I'm a head myself. I'm a hip hop head myself. I mean, obviously, the fact that with our label TS Records, we did Kwaito music and house music and Afro pop, etc. It doesn't mean that I wasn't a head. I mean, that's the reason why I was able to recognize the greatness.
Well,
of
a lot of Kwaito artists were hip hop heads. Zola used to go to Lick Club when we still had dreads. Like every Saturday, he was there.
Booga too.
Booga, TKZ is a hip hop crew that decided to do Kwaito.
Those guys are rappers.
Chiskop is Onyx.
Chiskop is Onyx, exactly, bro.
You know what I mean?
Or Onyx is Chiskop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, speaking of that, let me take you to TS a little bit. You had like a crazy
artist
roster on your label, and it doesn't happen a lot lately. What do you think the problem is with the A&R?
That's a very good question. I think it's not only us. I think with a whole lot of other labels as well. We encourage musicians to be independent, and the system does allow everybody, as I was saying, that nobody's cancelable, right? Everybody's independent in their own right? So people can do things by themselves. But when you're still starting, you do need resources. You do need somebody who's going to plug you in some places. You do need some sort of financial injection. You do need some sort of, you spoke about it earlier, artist development.
Yeah.
You do need that mentorship. You know, you do need somebody who's walked the path before to assist you to grow. And sometimes if that all comes with also a bigger artist in that roster or in that label, or 2 or 3 big artists, then you also benefit off of the clout of the bigger artists at the time. They'll feature you in their shows, they'll put you on stage. The first time I heard of Casper was on Double HP's shows.
Yeah.
I used to watch Double HP's music videos. And I knew Casper through Double HP.
Sure.
You know, I knew Memphis Bleak because of Jay. Right? I knew, you know, even now locally, you know, Drake mina ngimcave Cash Money. You know, ngimcave Lil Wayne. All right, so you know what I mean? Big Nas, not necessarily the public. You knew them because of Afro-10, because of Tira. You know, obviously, I was lucky enough to have met the Big Nas guys before they blew up. They actually used to be rappers, by the way.
Yeah, I remember when they were signed to Gallo. Yeah.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Remember Cashless Society? Remember Mr. Selvin? Remember Specs? Yizo? Remember? Jeez, man, there were a lot of hip hop.
Do you know Upa, who's from Durban, who's doing Gom now?
Yeah, do you know Bar used to be Zex Bantwini's artist, including El Vovo used to be Zex Bantwini's
You know,
artist.
before that, Bar was on Milaz. He did Mama Wam with Oskido. He was
Mama
a hip hop.
Wam,
Yeah, it was like hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, he did that Mama Wam with Oskido.
That's why I also understand why Euphonic had to say what he had to say to Casper. I don't think he meant to go to hip hop aina nyugo, but at the time the bars was around Kwaito, the bars was around
it was
house. Hip hop was there, but it was still bubbling under and growing.
It was.
At the time there was some hip hop hits, but you were not seeing a lot of hip hop stars driving Benzes and having big homes and balling, right? And I guess maybe that's where it came from, what Euphonic said to Casper.
I think what also brought attention to SA hip hop was when it was dissed, even though it was not serious dissed like Asimo States, like Amakoporosh. You know? Yabo. Cabanga umuntu athi kimi ngithi nyaw nyaw nyaw. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
it's Gamzek smart.
So
you know Mzekeze.
Yeah, Mzekeze. So that was like, who's these guys? Why is everyone taking shots at these people? I think it brought that attention. And another song that played a major role was collaborations. You see that song Ghetto Scandalous, Amu and Zola. It like brought hip hop.
Lance has always been a visionary, bro.
Yes.
Lance also doesn't get his flowers that he deserves. He was always a visionary, bro. For having had all those different guys, for having had Ishmael, Ismail, Prophets of the City, Ready D, Scheme, Mischief, and then teaming them up, and Mischief and Mavusana, may their souls rest in peace, as a duo. And this is when TK, who I went on to open up ETS Records now, who's now a politician, was working for Lance at the time. But Konabo Ashan, I don't know if you remember about Ashan, but Konabo, because now the record label is called Motherload. Motherland, sorry. Motherland, Oh, I remember that album, Motherload. Remember the compilation album?
Yes.
Yeah, Amasare Pange Paipel.
Abu Amu, Nabu Snez, Nabu Ramesh.
Yeah, Ramesh. Remember those days, bro? It says, I love the intertwining of our cultures, but it's just that we are so competitive that we're always competing.
And you know that Motherload was recorded at Cube Studios. Cube Studios is the same house that Lance bought, and it became Ghetto Rough.
Yeah, and that's when when he signs an artist, and maybe they're from out of town, they don't have a place to stay, they would stay there.
Yeah.
And that's how the creativity would happen. When these guys hang out together, they smoke, they drink, they hang out, and that's just the energy and the vibe happens, and a lot of hits would come up like that.
Now, shout out to Lance. Lance, you've been darking me. I've been inviting him for an interview. He's been darking me.
He has to tell those stories.
Yeah, it's that this podcast is not controversial. It's not about scandals. It's about spitting game.
Yeah, that's why I'm Ilanda Ngizanayo Ganj.
Yeah.
Because I'm storytelling basically.
Sure.
I did a podcast with General Tata Zonke, GTZ from HNIC.
Yeah.
Go check out the episode, guys, on my podcast, The Hustler's Corner. I'll send you the link. Maybe you can just put it in the description.
Okay, cool.
It was like this. Like, amachita nje aplumile khona na xoxa.
Yeah.
Bayaringa nje. Over amachita na abshaya baxoxa. It's storytelling at its best. And was one of my best episodes. And a lot of people say so too. So I feel this type of vibe is important because you are sharing knowledge without sounding lecture-like or without sounding preachy-like to the young guys. We are basically storytelling.
Now, TS is a hardcore Kwaito label. Then you guys decide to sign Prokid. What inspired that move?
TK has always been a genius. When I see him in his political career, he's killing it. And I'm so proud of him that he evolved into becoming the man that he is in politics.
Yeah.
And politicians, obviously, they are very controversial people. Most of them are not liked by a lot of people. But it's the role they chose to become leaders and represent society. So when I look at him, I always have a lot of respect for TK. TK used to say it all the time. With Mfana, this thing of us being looked at as a Kwaito label has to end. We're a label.
Yeah.
We're a music label.
Yeah.
We're not a Kwaito label, we're a music label. But yes, people are calling us a Kwaito label out there because of Umzegeze, because of Brown, because of Izinyoga Nyoga, because of all these collaborations that we keep doing. Abu Kabs, Abu Puga Two Shoes, Abu Mdu, Abu Bricks, and then Bricks was also part of our label. Bricks Mabricado.
Yeah.
So that's when we came up with Untando. Untando, we get introduced to him by Ntlantla Ngiza.
Yeah.
Sis Ntlantla Mafu.
Yes.
At the time, she bebasaqala bebajola no TK before they got married. Right, before she became Mrs. Ntlantla Ngiza. When we were recording Nontlantla, and you need to remember, Untantla is part of Mafikizolo, and they're at Kalawa at the time.
Yes.
And there was just that competitiveness where there's Kalawa, there is TS Records, there's 999, there's Mdu Records, there's Ghetto Rough, there's Bulldogs Entertainment, Yabom Sawawa, Nabom Zambia, you know. So there was also, as much as we used to collaborate, but there was also this rivalry, Kuma record label.
Yes.
So because industry I mean, now I'm a father of my kids and my firstborn in Tombazana. You know, you are very strict about who they hang out with, Bayagupi, who are they doing, Abama sleep outs, Kaboban, Lapo, you know, you are very critical of, you care, right? So much so that even when you run a label or you've got a group of young people that you mentor, you care about who they hang out with, who they mess with, etc. So I remember in the beginning, in the early days, Kalawa didn't like a relationship with TK no Sisintlantle. You know, so they never really approved of it in the beginning because we have so much Itago music industry. You know, and I know I'd remember I'd speak to Grootman Arthur at some point. Hey, I'm footing next name was Zila. Because Nyazaz music industry, you know how guys are in the game, right? So if you've got a daughter, hey, you must always keep your.
It's crazy. Speaking of that, looking at the industry, would you let your daughter become a musician or be involved in this industry?
Yeah, I would, but obviously under my supervision and guidance. Sorry, I do know that we don't have much time, but the point that I was trying to drive towards is TK discouraged us from only focusing on Kwaito. We meet Untando through Usisintlanhla. We start recording Untando. Untando was a raga artist at the time. He was a big fan of Sizzla. He was a big fan of Bob Marley. He was a big fan of Abo Peter Tosh and all those guys.
Yeah.
We'll try Shy Untando. You're good looking, you're young, you've got a great physique, and you can sing. Why don't you rather focus more Afro-pop rather than Iraga? Iraga ipais wamanja. You know, you'll spice it up here and there in Gomenzako. And then Untando blows up. But Ndano didn't blow up on his first album, he blew up on his second album. But anyway, to cut the long story short, the road leads us to a guy who used to manage Prokid. He was an American guy, African-American, by the name of Sid Money.
Sid Money, yeah.
Sid Money.
The chicken-licking man.
Yeah. Sid Money and his business partner, Simpiwe, were managing Pro. Sid Money was going overseas, was moving back to America. He was sick and tired of being in South Africa. Simpiwe was moving from the music industry into film. He had just gotten married, or they were just getting married, him and his wife. They were starting a production company. So he was moving into film and production and, you know, doing TV work. And they were like, we want to make sure Go2 Pro is in good hands, and we really feel TS Records can be a good home for Pro. It's them who planted the idea. I took the idea to TK. We organized a meeting with the Pro. There used to be a very popular restaurant, La Pine Foy's, but it's a kitchen bar. Kitchen bar, nice, classy restaurant. We're organizing a meeting no Pro. We're thinking the Pro's going to pull up maybe with 1 or 2 guys or 3 guys. Pro comes with 11 guys. I have that on video.
Yeah.
By the way, we've got our entire career, TS Records, on video. We used to record almost everything. And that's how the Pro deal gets done. I meet AKA through Pro, because in Pro's recording sessions, he keeps on bringing this young kid. And we didn't know that kid was up next, right, to AKA. But anyway, that's how we started working with the Pro. And those dialogues used to happen. Marusha isingamla too much. Lesson isingamla kancane, and then we let uyibuyise kasi kancane.
I've known him like before the industry, Gandhi Square. Gandhi Square, because he used to go to JSS, Johannesburg
JSS,
Secondary. So after school, he used to battle at Gandhi Square. Prokid was 100% English.
Yeah,
yeah.
Pro became a part of what they used to call as a Kwaito label. But also the inspiration was 90 hamba, 90 things. You know, it took kancane lento. Fafazi singamla ushanga skasi. You know, and I think he had been hearing that from also other voices.
Yeah.
Because Bekantswembi was dope with punchlines and mixing up language, and people call it kasi rap. And I guess that's how our relationship started with Pro. And wherever he is, may his soul rest in peace. It was a great moments that we had together. And I'm glad that he eventually got the flowers that he deserves. The industry does rate him as the greatest lyric, arguably, let me put it that way, because I know hip-hop in our arguments up high. Arguably the greatest South African hip-hop lyricist of all time. Other people call
I give him that too.
Yeah, People call him the king of Kasi rap, But he's on pretty much is on everyone's top. I'll even say top 3. Push it, not even top 5.
Yeah.
He is on that one. I'm definite. He's on everyone's top 3 as South Africa, right? Or top 5. You can put it that way. And then, but arguably the greatest South African Kasi rap or lyricist of all time, and which is great because at the time sometimes there was a lot of jealousy in the industry. Bekantswembu pro so much so that amanye amajita bengafuna ukumskima engomeni because bebamsaba. Abanye kade bamdlela umona. Abanye, you know how it is when you're at the top, man. I mean, look at the guys that are at the top today. How many people babadlela umona,
Yeah.
And it's understandable. And
when you're on top, the vision is clear, so you become a target.
Yeah.
If it's a crowd in, nobody sees you, but it's lonely on top, so you become an easy target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my story at TS Records. We worked with Ntando. Ntando blew up. I remember we used to say we're building our own Asha, and we modeled Ntando's career around Uringo, Grootman. By the way, I say all these things in my upcoming book. Everything we did and everything I've ever done in my career is intentional. Everything has been about purpose. It's just that people out there, they don't know the inner workings of how the decisions were made and how we tailor-made our record label and just myself also in my own career. But I was blessed to have worked with Izinyoga, Urayo, Tuprix Mapricado. I was blessed to have worked with Brown Dash. May so rest in peace. I still mentor his firstborn, Lindesh. Lindesh now works with Enyintwanayam that I used to mentor, Robot Boy, Intwana Zamdes.
Yeah.
Met both of them. They met a massive metro. I used to have an online radio station.
Yeah.
So the youngsters created their relationship there. Ntwana Mzwaki, Ntwana Browns, mentoriwa uSbuda, Spane Massive Metro, Klalekzwala artists lapayana. The one time Robot Boy, bekangishayela videography. Most of my video Massive Metro boku Robot Boy. Most of my video lanka ngibona ngithengisa MoFaya trading boku Robot Boy kade ngiphethe camera. I used to tell him, you're up next, your time is coming, your time is coming, your time is coming. Robot Boy, I've got a guest that comes almost during lockdown, Shimza. Comes for an interview. Introduce him to Shimza. Robot Boy didn't know that they'll have a great relationship. See, Shimza gives Robot Boy his biggest break yet, which is to present the lockdown house party.
Yeah.
And I guess that pretty much sums it all up. But I've always been a part of collaborating, working with other people. That's how we built the TS Records label. We started moving from just being a Kwaito label. We had Afropop, we had hits. We also helped Ntlantla launch her own solo career. We met no Zaharu Bulelwa, may her soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
We created history there as well. So I've been a part of South African culture musically in an amazing way, and I'm always grateful to people like Abu Grootman, Leslie Sidibe, who did our deals. He was our lawyer at the time.
Yeah.
But the person that played the biggest role in setting us up as a business was Mr. Vusileo. So Grootman Yaknanya, always have got a lot of respect for you. It's not only me. You've helped Abu Mandoza, you've helped Abu WHP, you've worked with the rest of them in the industry. Abu Poisifio, Abu Sipo Dlamini, Abu Sanele Dlamini, all these great guys that were part of our team in building TS Records. We made
Check my interview as well with Mr. Vusilio.
Oh yeah, I've seen you sitting. I have not listened to that episode.
It's a dope one. It's a dope one.
He's a storyteller, ne?
Yeah.
You know,
I like this industry because everything is like a full circle. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to YFM to rap on Oskido's show. 15 years later, I'm hosting the same show with Oskido.
Yes.
And then I was on Gem Early. So this white lady who auditioned me for Gem Early, 15 years later is the same lady who interviewed me for a job when I came for Shizness to produce Shizness. Like, I know you, I remember you. Like, I know you too, but I don't know. And then we discovered later that, then she told me, I used to do Gem Early. Like, I was on Gem Early. Yes, that's where I know you from. So it all clicks. So everything is a full cycle. We might meet now, bump into each other now. You don't know what's going to happen in the future.
I had a chance of signing Tear Gas, and we didn't at TS Records.
Yeah.
They blew up on their own. Maybe if we signed them, they probably could not have blown up and became as big as they are today.
Yeah.
KO is now a GOAT. He's on everyone's top 5.
Yeah.
Right now, for me, KO is actually at the top, to tell you the truth. Because for me, I've got my own reasons why I say so. That's a topic for another day. He's my GOAT.
I'll bring you back.
Because KO does not do presenting. It does not do acting. It does not do other things. KO is a full-on 100% MC. He's a musician.
Yes.
And KO's staying power, KO's diversity, KO's catalog, KO's hits. KO comes from Destiny's Child. KO comes from TKZ, and he became a Beyonce. He became a Magesh. He became a Boga Two Shoes. KO's staying power, KO's humility, KO's rhymes. KO is another story. But anyway,
Cash Time Fam, Cash Time Life, Scandal World.
Outlived different eras. And he's outlived different generations of rappers, and he's still at the top till today. But anyway, and a string of hits and classics.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it another day. And as you're saying, I told DJ Fresh when I was some kid from a Timbis around the interview, he used to have a DJ vinyl competition show called DJ Vinyl Meltdown Competition.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I'm going to sit on that seat. I'm going to work here at YFM. It's before I worked at Y. And I did sit on that seat. And I did host the morning show at Y. I hosted the afternoon show at Y. Moved on to Coles. I hosted the morning show there. Came back at Y. Killed it again. Moved on to Metro FM. You know? Moved on to start my own radio station online. Now I'm back on 2000. I'm an entrepreneur. Built myself all these years because I've always had the confidence. Always believed in myself. Always believed in treating other people with humility and respect. Always believed in kicking on doors. Always believed in you're only as good as your last project. You're only as good as your last broadcast, your last radio show, your last TV show, your last project, your last album, your last single. You're only as good as the last thing you did. So don't hold on to memories of I used to be. I could have, would have, should have. Bengi blinding in ZTS records. Bengi blinding friends like these. Bengi blinding AYFM. No, I'm just blind namanj. On the morning show, I'm killing it. I got my business growing like crazy. It's all over the country.
MoFaya.
And for me, the message to youngsters is always stay at the top of your game. You can never arrive. Nobody arrives here. Because you could be at the top today, and then you could be at the bottom tomorrow. So create as many relationships as you can. Be humble about your grind. Be at the top of your grind and always have your mind on the next thing. When people congratulate me on things I'm achieving now, I believe in my mind that's an old dream. They don't know that my mind is not even there anymore. I appreciate, thank you. I appreciate the props, but my mind is already.
But we're still gonna congratulate you, man. Congratulations on your books. Congratulations on MoFaya. Congratulations on your radio show. Congratulations on your podcast. You know, I know you're still gonna grow bigger than that, you know, and I wish you all the best. You inspire me. I'm supporting you, whether you see it or not, you know, because I'm not doing it to be seen. You know, I know what you did for me, and I know you inspire a lot of other people out there. So keep on, brother. May Allah bless you more.
I receive the blessings. I can smell the flowers while I'm still here, and they smell real good. I appreciate you, bro. I love you. I'm proud of everything you've achieved. I'm proud of you passing on the torch and paying it forward. Everybody here that you've put on, all the lives that you've touched, and just in not being afraid of speaking your mind in this era that we're in. May you keep growing. May you keep succeeding. And I appreciate being on this podcast. May you guys grow. It's your time to shine. Use that social media to grow your brand, grow yourself. Don't be afraid of the cancel culture. It's all on you. If you don't put in the work, nothing will be blessed by God. God needs to bless the work that you put in. So put in the work for him to see that this is what I need to bless. Right now, you've got guys that are behind the scenes that are watching us speak. Tomorrow, it'll be them hosting these podcasts. Tomorrow, it'll be them doing their own thing because they are rubbing shoulders with people like us and they're not afraid to serve us. For you to be a great leader, you must be a follower and you must push that servant attitude. Serve others for you to be great and for others to learn from you one day and serve you. I wish you guys all of the best and I love you. Danko Nyabo.
Buddha, #1 Knox, man.
Shout out. I love you guys.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
Bless up.
It's the H to the NI to the. You already see what time it is. It's the H to the NI to the. See my niggas dying to live.